All right, let's talk about something we all struggle with, procrastination. But we're not going to go over the usual stuff, willpower, time management hacks. Nope, we're going deep, right into your brain to get at the real science of why you put things off. So let's pull back the curtain and see what's actually happening in there when you choose to scroll instead of work.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You've got that huge project looming, the deadline's creeping closer and closer, and what are you doing? Alphabetizing your spice rack. And you immediately start telling yourself, ugh, I'm so lazy or I have no discipline. But what if that's just not the real story?
Because here's the thing, procrastination, it isn't some kind of moral failing. It's not a character flaw. It's a biological process. It's driven by a super powerful chemical messenger in your brain. And just understanding this, well, that's the first step to taking back control.
So it's time to meet the main character in this whole story, a little neurotransmitter you've probably heard of called dopamine. This stuff is the absolute key to understanding your brain's motivation engine.
Now, here's a really common misconception. Most people think of dopamine as the pleasure chemical. But really, it's all about anticipation. It's the I want chemical. It doesn't just spike when you get the reward, it spikes when you expect to get one. It's the chemical that drives you, that pushes you to seek out things that feel good. And this stuff isn't just floating around randomly in your head. For our story, the most important source is a little spot called the ventral tegmental area, or the VTA. You can basically think of it as the mission control, the headquarters, for your brain's entire reward and motivation system.
So how on earth does this motivation chemical actually end up causing, well, demotivation? It all comes down to this really predictable and very powerful cycle we call the procrastination loop. And getting this, it's a total game changer.
Okay, so here's how it works. You look at some big, tough, maybe kind of boring task. Your brain, which is basically an efficiency machine, it does a quick calculation, it anticipates a ton of effort for reward that's way, way off in the future. That's a low dopamine payoff. So what does it do? It seeks an easier target, you pick up your phone, you scroll for a minute, and boom, you get an instant little dopamine hit. Your brain just learned that avoiding the hard thing and picking the distraction feels good. It reinforces that choice over and over until the stress from the deadline finally gets so high that it forces you into panic mode. And to really get dopamine, it helps to see it next to its partner, serotonin. Think of it like this. If dopamine is the chemical of the chase, it's what gets you out of bed to go hunt for breakfast, then serotonin is the chemical of the enjoyment. It gives you that calm, satisfied feeling while you're actually eating. Procrastination is what happens when our chase instinct gets pointed at all the wrong targets. And here's the big problem. This whole system, it evolved in a very, very different world. Today, our environment is practically designed to exploit it. Our brain's reward circuit is getting hijacked constantly. I mean, just think about it. That little red notification bubble, the infinite scroll, that leveling up sound in a video game, all of these things are engineered to give you these tiny, unpredictable hits of dopamine. They offer an immediate, super easy reward that your long-term project just can't compete with in the moment. And this is where it gets a little dangerous. Over time, this constant flood of artificial, high-reward dopamine can actually make your brain less sensitive to it. Your receptors basically start to tune it out, which means you need a bigger and bigger hit to feel that same level of motivation. And that makes normal, everyday tasks feel even more dull and less rewarding, which just feeds the procrastination cycle even more. Okay, so that's the problem. It sounds kind of bleak, right? But the good news is you are absolutely not powerless here. Your body has a built-in toolkit for regulating dopamine naturally. It's time we learned how to use it. First up, nutrition. Your brain literally builds dopamine from an amino acid called tyrosine. And you get tyrosine from protein-rich foods. So what you eat has a direct impact on your brain's ability to create the very chemical you need for motivation. It's not magic, it's just biology. Next up, your lifestyle habits. And these are incredibly powerful. Quality sleep is totally non-negotiable. That's when your brain actually resets and restores those dopamine receptors. Regular exercise gives you a natural boost, and even just getting some sunlight first thing in the morning helps regulate your internal clocks and your dopamine levels. So this is where we learn to get smart and actually train our brains. Instead of fighting your reward system, you can start working with it. Take a massive project and break it into tiny, tiny little steps. Every single time you check one off, you get a small, healthy dopamine hit. You can turn your progress into a game.
And practice delaying gratification. Work for 25 minutes, and then you earn that 5-minute social media break.
So what does this actually look like in a real day? You can build a super simple daily routine around all these ideas. And notice, none of these are drastic, life-altering changes. It's all about small, consistent actions that support your brain chemistry all day long, from the food you eat in the morning to that little walk you take at lunch.
All right, so as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final, really important idea. This whole thing isn't about chasing some constant high or turning yourself into a productivity machine. It's about finding your balance. See, the goal is not to just flood your brain with as much dopamine as possible. That's a recipe for burnout and addiction. The real goal is to create a healthy, balanced system that gives you sustainable drive for the things that actually matter to you. You know, something we came across in the research for this just captures it perfectly. It says too little and you feel stuck, too much and you burn out chasing quick hits. It really is all about finding that sweet spot.
So, I'll leave you with this question. Forget about overhauling your entire life tomorrow. Just based on what we've talked about today, what is one small, manageable thing you can do to start tuning your brain's reward system? Maybe it's just eating a protein-rich breakfast. Maybe it's a 10-minute walk in the sun. Or maybe it's just breaking down that one dreaded task into its first tiny step. Because that's how real change actually begins.